Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Recently Rachelle Anne Miller released some new digital stamps. This one that I'm featuring today is Mother and Baby Bunny, and there are many others released that are perfect for Mother's Day but also for many other occasions, so I hope that you will enjoy this video. So first of all, I printed this image onto Transotype perfect coloring paper. I took the no line coloring version, but before I start coloring my images, I tend to add those details first that will be difficult to see afterwards, like the eyes, the mouth, anything like that, and then I can start with the coloring. Now for today's coloring, I'm using some warm grays and I will also use some blues. Really simple coloring, but it is no line, so therefore I'm really taking my time to trace those lines where I want my shadows to be, flick a bit already, and just work my way towards my lightest marker to get the end result that I really like. So I'm doing that, and sometimes a no-line coloring version can be really tricky. I must admit that, but I cannot resist it since the end results of no-line coloring are one of my favorites. So I tend to go for images that are quite simple, maybe a bit bigger, because the bigger the images are, as this will be quite a big image on my card, the bigger they are, the more area you have to really get into those details without fiddling too much with your thick markers. So therefore this one was printed quite big. I don't know the exact size, but I always, whenever I'm using digital stamps, maybe that's handy, I'm using Word. I don't have any fancy programs to edit digital stamps in, but that's also the beauty about Rachelle Anne Miller. I think you always have a bit of a scene, and there are details enough in it. I tend to just be happy with the scene that she creates because she's just a genius, if you ask me. So therefore, I can use it for a clean and simple card, although there are quite a lot of details. So whatever I do is I start with my Word version, just a blank page, and I add two rectangles size of an A2 size. So that way I can see on my screen of my laptop how that image will be scaled on top of my card in the end. And then I change up size if I want to. I most of the time place it in the middle, centered on the page, so that I still have the option to die cut it a bit higher or lower. And of course, before printing it, I remove that rectangle that was my guide to see how big it would be on my card itself. So that's how I tackle it. And I also always save everything, except when I'm just rushed or anything. But normally I save my my printed versions, so that if I need a mask, for example, I have it in the size that I printed it already, or if I like the design, I can reprint it the same size and just color it a different way and know that the size will work on a card design. So that's always handy to do as well. Of course, there are programs to add your digital stamp in to adapt them if you want to, but I'm not that fancy when using digital stamps, so I cannot help with that. But just make sure, if you're using Word like I do, to already put the card size that you want to use, because you can also use a mini slimline or a slimline, anything you want. Just add that first by using one of the forms that are in Word already or in whatever program you are, and that way it's really handy to already see size-wise what will work. Okay, so here again, like I did with the big bunny, I'm first tracing with my darkest marker where I think I want shadowing to be, and then I work my way towards my lightest, trying to really show each part of the image off without having to add the lines myself. And something that I also find really handy to do is really go slow here. Really take your time to do whatever you need is necessary, and just go over things if you need to. Also something that I tend to do whenever I have a mother figure or a bigger one and a smaller one. The smaller one for me is always going to be in the lightest color. I don't know necessarily why. I think it's a way to keep it really cute, because the lighter, personally, I find the images cuter. So that's what I do. So here I'm working my way also through my lighter W markers. Again, if you're interested in the Copic combos that I'm using and you don't want to rewatch this video, definitely check out my blog post. I'm linking each time towards it in the description box down below. And that's also a way to really quickly find all of the marker combinations. Then something that I decided to do was use gray markers here. Why? All those tiny details, I say it really often whenever I'm using Rachelle Anne Miller's digital stamps or just stamps that are released by my favorite things. I love those swirly lines, those details, and I really love them to shine. The thing is with the no line coloring that sometimes it might, well, be a bit too light, since it's really hard to add them or to go over them with markers. I find that personally, so I don't tend to do that. You can always use pencils there, try to find similar pencils as the markers or the medium that you used. This way you can really go over it, trace it, and just help yourself getting all of the swirly lines to shine. Now today I didn't want to do that. Yes, sometimes I don't want to do that. Since I'm using those warm gray markers, the gray is already the color that I'm using. And the no-line coloring version from the digital stamp is in a sort of a grayish tint. So that's why I decided to not trace them. For the blue parts, I could definitely do that, but I didn't. But you decide what you want to do, of course. Then here also, I decided to see this as a blanket and to just make it blue. Baby cards, I truly find that all the new digital stamps this month can be lent towards baby cards, but as suggested by Rachelle Anne Miller to the design team as well, there is more towards it than just a baby card. You can make it or use it for Mother's Day, for Father's Day even. There are several stamps out there, bears, birds. I mean, they are just gorgeous, and every father, mother, grandmother will appreciate this. It is just... This release is really cuteness overload, and I love all of them, and I will definitely feature more of this release, maybe on Rachelle Anne Miller's YouTube channel, maybe here. But if it's on another channel, I will definitely link towards it in the community here, so that you can always find other creations that aren't featured on my own YouTube channel. So, what was the next step? Of course, I'm going to add a bit of red to the heart to let it pop, but then I was wondering whether I was going to do the grass or not. It's part of the scenery, but I decided to not add any color to the grass. I decided to trace it with my black markers that I used also, well, it's not a marker, with my, well, black Copic thing here, multi-liner. Just to let it shine as well, to maybe emphasize it a bit more, because it got lost a bit with the markers, because it's really fine, these details. But this way the grass was there is scenery, but it's not distracting from all of the other coloring. I am going to add, however, a bit of color to the flowers and then sort of the gravel that is there, but nothing more. I really wanted only the image to shine, and these tiny elements will not distract, but the grass, maybe adding green and stuff, might have distracted the rest. So I decided to just add it in black, because I really love it, because also the grass has some swirly lines, so that's gorgeous. But this way it works as well. I'm using the Blueprints 27 to help me cut out this gorgeous image, framed and all. I'm also going to use the all occasion scripted greetings from my favorite things. In these digital stamps there are also sentiments, which are gorgeous. But while I was deciding how big my image was going to be, I snipped it off because I didn't know yet how I was going to use this image. And the moment there is a sentiment, you have decided, and I wasn't sure. So then later on I needed to add a sentiment and just took this welcome little one. I decided to add Peacock in the background because there is of course a bit of an edge around the Blueprint 27. So I used one of the blues that is in my combination sort of, and I added it, snipped off the excess, and then I mounted my panel on top as well. I'm going to add a bit of glossy accents to the heart, and that is my card. It's a really simple card, but I adore this digital stamp. I think it really shines on top of a simple card. That's why I love making them. And of course, I hope that you love it too. Thank you so much for stopping by and taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget, these digital stamps are already available along with so many other beautiful digital stamps. Definitely check it out at Rachelle Anne Miller. Thank you so much, and I'll be back soon with some new crafty inspiration. Bye!